I'm Blake. I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. Um, still am recovering though. Um, Basically, I'm just going to share a little bit about how I got to where I am today. So basically, I had a normal life, I would think. I was born in Etobicoke General in the GTA. My father left my mother when I was young. So for a long time, it was just me and my father, me and my mother. Um, he was in and out of my life for many years. But he came back and had my sister and left again. So for a long time, I felt alone. I never really had that father figure. And now I know how important that connection is. But for a long time, I didn't have that. I had to grow up pretty fast. I was the man of the house, even though I was a baby or a child. But eventually we moved from that area to Ottawa. And things were okay. I lived in the Alta Vista area. I liked school, sports. I thought I was a normal boy. My drugs and alcohol addiction didn't kick in until I moved out of that area to a place called Orleans. And in the Alta Vista area, I went to a school called Featherston. So there was a lot of, I'm going to talk about race because it's part of my story. There was a lot of black children there, black people there. Moved out of that area to Orleans, and I became the only, or one of the only, black kids there. So I got a lot of attention that I wasn't used to. I always had this feeling of being alone, or I had to do it by myself and whatnot. But I did get a lot of attention moving out there. So things changed for me, and I was introduced to marijuana, drugs, and alcohol when I was in grade 6. And someone told me that this is a disease and a progressive disease. Now, people go back and forth about that. That's what I believe. But I never thought it would progress to where it did. So in grade 6, I started smoking marijuana, drinking, skipping school. Ended up dropping out of school and going back to school and whatnot. I've been to many different treatment centers multiple times. I went to my first residential treatment center, and I've only been to residential treatment centers in my life, when I was about 17. And, when I first tasted alcohol, I fell in love immediately. The feeling of, hopelessness, and I was alone, and, depression, and all those feelings disappeared. So that's what I turned to for many years. I went to the treatment center in Carlton Place, and I told my parents that I was only going to go for a month. It was a 3-month program, so still trying to control the show. At that point, I didn't really think I was an alcoholic, but hearing some of the things in the program, I did think hey, maybe I do have this problem. But so I left there, and my parents took me back into the house, and this cycle continued for a very long time, to the point where I said, I had enough, and I'm gonna move out and do things on my own. Back to the thought that I had to do things on my own. I've always had a relationship with God. I always believed in God, but I couldn't understand why God separated my family, and a lot of things happened in my life I just couldn't understand. So I kind of walked away from God. After moving out on my own, things progressively got worse. I started doing cocaine and just all types of drugs and alcohol, and it was just a downward spiral. Like I said, I've been to many treatment centers before, and my life was unmanageable. I was hopeless. I was lost, and I didn't like who I was. I didn't know who I was. So eventually, this cycle continued for many years. I'm 28 now. like I said, the first residential treatment center I went to when I was about 16, 17. This last relapse that I had, it's probably the worst. Throughout my life, I've got apartments, good jobs, and all those things, but lost it due to addiction. This time was probably the worst. I was homeless. I was living in shelters, on the streets, in the Ottawa airport, on the GO train, in the GTA. I was admitted into psych wards, just all that nonsense. And I had enough. I really had enough. And one night drinking, and like I said, it progressed. So it progressed to the point where I was smoking meth and drinking and doing things that I told myself I would never, ever do, ever. It got to the point where I was downtown Toronto. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was in the McDonald's, and I'll never forget this day. I was drinking, I was smoking, and I looked over to the side, and someone was injecting, and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? And I prayed for the longest time, for the first time in the longest time, and I just asked God, why have you done this to me? Why are you letting me go through all this? Either help me or kill me, because I didn't want to live. No answer. I thought I was going to get an answer immediately. No answer. So I ended up walking out of the McDonald's, and I said, that's enough. God, do something now, or I'm just going to walk into the street and get hit by a car, and that's it for me. So still nothing. So I said my goodbyes. I really thought that was the end. I said my goodbyes. I said a little prayer. I saw a car coming, and I kind of timed it that, if I stepped out now, then I would get hit. So I closed my eyes, and I stepped out, and I heard a loud screech, and I closed my eyes, and I'm still standing there, and I'm thinking how am I still standing here? I should have been hit by now. And I opened my eyes, and it was a police officer. So I believe that was my sign from God, saying, I'm here, I've been with you. And, someone told me that God will do whatever it takes to bring you back to him. And I believe, letting me go through what I went through in my life it's what it took to bring me back to him, and I'm grateful. I have a really good relationship with God. And, if people ask me, if you could go back, would you change anything? And, I don't think I would go back, because everything that I've been through has made me the man I am today, and, I finally know who I am today. I'm a son of God, and I'm not alone. I like who I am, I went to Jericho. I completed the program. It's a great program. I've been to a lot of different programs, like I said. And, I got to reconnect with God, find who I really was. I started making music probably about 3 years ago, in and out, wherever I was. I used to make music in the library or in the hospitals or wherever, in a car, anywhere I could make music, and I always wanted to make music. And, I'm very grateful that I am making music now. And, I believe it's my purpose, to make music and also share what I've been through with drugs and alcohol and my relationship with God. So, life's great. I can't complain, but I complain anyways, because I'm a complainer. But I'll tell you this, I'm not making music in libraries or washrooms or cars now. I actually started going to school for music engineering at a private college, and, I'm coming up. Thank you. I'm coming up on a year sobriety. I have a great relationship with God, with my family. I have a community, multiple communities, a lot of people that I could talk to, and I just know that, I'm not alone, and, we're not alone. There's hope, and it's never too late, so I'm going to share a song. I've shared this song a couple times, but I haven't really shared what I've been through or whatnot with you guys, so maybe, what I said will shed a little light on why I wrote this song. So, with that, let's do the song. Let's do the song. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, Jesus is the way. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, Jesus is the way. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. Jesus is the way, is the way. Understand it, tell the truth. God pushed me, pain and struggle, feel the spirit, yes, it's busting through. In case you knew, I didn't get lucky, we building the empire from the bottom, yes, we building it from nothing. Now isn't that something? Thank you God, what a blessing. And they thought I was bluffing. I'm about to do what Jesus did through music, and that's share the message. The word's a blessing, I'm attacking the devil I'm addressing. Jesus said love your enemies like you buddy. The devil tried to rob me, yeah, he tried to stop me. Through Jesus change is guaranteed, God will oversee. Understand I've been waiting patiently. Not giving into worldly possessions, living the spirit, not the flesh. Trust, that's a hard lesson. Now focused on the spirit, the message, trust I hear it. Signs everywhere, couldn't be any clearer. Yeah, I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, Jesus is the way. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, Jesus is the way. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. Jesus is the way, is the way. My life was a mess, gave it up to God. My sins I had to confess. Now living the spirit, not the flesh. Not focusing on money. Now isn't that something? Blake the disciple, yeah, that's what I'm becoming. Guess the devil was wrong. Not just an alcoholic or a junkie. Now I know no matter what, God, he loves me. Spiritual battle, not even Satan can stop me. I know God's got me looking down, and I know he's been watching. He's been training me like this is boxing. I fought hard, overcame like the man was Rocky. Me and God are connected and trust, we're always talking. It might be shocking, but from here on out the devil better proceed with caution. God's been writing up the plan, not in language and blessing, so it's hard to understand. Haters my motivation, yes I got the faith. Here's my demonstration, answer my call like a call waiting. There's no more debating, there's no more hating. The devil was mistaken, not his for the taking. On a mission, share the word. I was blind, vision blurred, now I know for sure. Yeah, Jesus is the cure. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, Jesus is the way. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, Jesus is the way. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. Jesus is the way, is the way. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. Jesus is the way, is the way. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, I got the faith, you got the faith, we got the faith, yeah. Jesus is the way, is the way.